We're playing some more Drawception, so let's go ahead and play a game. And we'll just go until we find something that sparks some sort of image in our mind. Or we could caption something. But I'm just going to look for something. I lit some fire. Wow. That sparks an image for me. Now I want to build a bit of a scene with this. Let's, you might notice a pattern here. I'm going to do a bit of a black and white thing here. But I reckon there's some stuff we can do with this. It'll look quite nice. It's not what the game's all about, of course. You don't have to be a great drawer to play Drawception. You just have to have an idea. An idea from a caption, or you could start your own game. That's not a bad idea. Now we're gonna draw a bit of separation, a bit of, I guess, blending between the sky here and the ground. That's just gonna give us a bit of interest in the scene. Now, of course, the focus point of the scene is this fire that's been lit, but that doesn't mean there can't be more to it than that, and I think we could just go for the fire, or we could build up a bit of a scene around it. I'm not going to go too complex for this. I'm just going to have a simple nighttime scene. You know what, we might just blend this a little more. Of course, once again, I'm drawing with a mouse, and that just shows you how easy it is to play Drawception. Alright, and now we're gonna just build up the sky a little bit. I'm gonna start with, I reckon, a moon in this light grey. I reckon I want the moon to be centered today. I want it to be centered right here in the sky. I'm just gonna add some of those little bits and pieces, some craters on the moon's surface. In fact, I'll go with this. I'll go with this smaller brush. And just whatever we feel like. Just a bit of accents, some accents on the moon. Now, of course, we could really fill in some detail there. But what I think I'll do is I'll just add a bit of cloud in this scene. A bit of cloud covering over the moon. In fact, we should have it in a colour that's not the same. In fact, I'll start with some black. Just some clouds hovering over the moon. I'll just make it look like part of the scene. And I think we'll go for some white now. It doesn't have to be exact. Just sort of a little bit of interest to the scene. And why don't we go with this lighter grey again? I do like my grayscale backgrounds. But of course we could do whatever kind of colour we wanted. Now I think it's time, with 6.5 minutes left, to draw a fire. I lit some fire. I think we're going to choose a brush that'll allow us to create a nice wood fire, a campfire. We're just going to do sort of the rough outline of where the camp fire is, the logs are, I should say. And so that's a general outline. Then we'll go in a bit with a finer brush. We'll just fill in some sticks here and there. Then an even finer one and some twigs thereabouts. Yeah, okay. That's a general outline of our log fire. Then, well, some of the campfires already turned out. Actually, you know what? we'll just do some outlining for the logs before we go crazy. This is just a bit of detail, a bit of texture for these logs. And I think we'll also want some black. Some of this in black. Because of course some of the wood's already burnt. Oh. You don't want to change the background colour. I keep doing that, and it's not very clever of me. Now if you are new to the game, you won't have that background colour option. That's something you got to purchase in the in-game currency, which you can get in various ways. But you can still create a beautiful solid colour background with a large brush and just going crazy on that screen. And I think I'm pretty pleased with this. We'll just add a bit of a... You know what? We'll add a bit of this light brown. I've got 4 minutes left, so we've got plenty of time after we do this to go in and really focus on that fire. Now, I'm starting just doing some of the ends of these logs. That doesn't really make sense. That looks like it's facing away. Alright, not just a few more twigs here and there in this light brown. Beautiful. Now we're going to go back out, and I think it's time to start on this fire. And the way I like to do fires is start with a darker colour and then go down to our light colours. You might be able to hear a dog in the background there. That's what happens when you have a dog. And look how blazingly. This is already a stark contrast to what we had just then. We're going to start with this big brush and just get the beginning of our fire here. Then we're going to go down to this orange. We're going to use a smaller brush here. We're going to just draw this cooler bit of flame around here. And we can go off every so often. Now I think we'll go to a yellow. Just go and do whatever takes our fancy here. As you can see, the wind's probably coming from this direction, so we may want to add something indicating that, or we may not want to. We can really do whatever we want. I'll just undo that last bit. And then we want to add in a bit of detail, I reckon. So we're going to go down to this fine brush and really start to almost blend these colours, but not even necessarily to blend it, just to add some fine detail into what the fire looks like. I'm going to start with this red, then go to that beautiful orange. Check that out. A very bright fire in the dead of night. This is just to really add in that detail. Okay. I'm pretty pleased with that. Now we want to go to that yellow. And I think we want to show that the wind's going in this direction. We could have a bit of ash rising up. Bit of rising up into the air. Oh, some cinders just flying about. Got less than a minute left, so I'm going to now really, I think we'll create a bit of illumination from the fire on the ground here. We'll just highlight that with a bit of green. And then in our last 30 seconds, we're just going to add some stars here and there to show that it is in fact the night sky that we're looking at. Beautiful. 15 seconds left. We'll just finish that off. And it's okay if some of your stars look a bit off here. Of course, I don't expect you drawing along with me if you're doing Drawception. But you know what? Maybe you're drawing a night sky. I lit some fire. You know, I think there's some stuff we could have done here where we might have added a bit more detail just to this yellow part of the flame. But I'm pretty happy with that. And I think it captures what I was going for. You know, with 10 minutes, it's hard to really get what you want to put onto the canvas. But you know what? It's not necessarily about making some great piece of art. It's about doing the best you can in the time given. Alright, I think we're going to do this happy pizza. I think I'm going to go for a slightly different visual style than I had last time. We're just going to do a bit of a background here. Maybe, I don't know, what could this be? A pizza stone or something like that. Just something to add a bit of visual flair. Alright, and then we're going to start on the base of our pizza. I want to go a bit more bold with the look of this one. So I'm going to say our pizza base is in this tan colour. And I'm not going to add too much once I've got the general shape of it. Not too much detail to the base. Then we're just going to fill that in. Good. Alright. Now I want to add a bit of sauce, I think. A bit of tomato paste around the outside. Now what I don't want in this case is really for the sauce to overlap with the edge of the base. So every so often I'll just release it so that if it does overlap, I've still got a bit of the sauce there. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. Very nice. And then we'll just fill in that red. Look how bright that is. That's really great. Then I think we want some big, bold cheese in this yellow colour. We'll do the exact same thing we just did. Now you may have noticed that there's really no need for me to fill in the red or the brown that I've already done to fill them in because they're being covered over with other colours, and the reason I did that is because I didn't think of it. Now I think I'm going to make this a pepperoni pizza. We're going to have some bold little bits of pepperoni here and there. Just take a look at that. Look how they stand out on that delicious yellow cheese. I think in this case we don't want to confuse them with the sauce. So just going to add a bit of texture on the pepperoni pieces. We could add a bit of white also, if we wanted to go a bit more realistic pepperoni, but I'm not too fussed about that because I'm not really going for something approaching realism here. Of course, when you're drawing with a mouse, and when you're me, you tend not to go for realism anyway. You tend to go for something a bit stylized. Alright, 6 minutes and 4 seconds. Now I think we're going to really show that this pizza is happy. We're going to do that with a big smiling face. Beautiful. There's a big smiling mouth. And I think we want to add just a bit of curvature to that mouth. And maybe up here, we'll just square off the corners of the mouth a little bit. That'll just make it a bit bolder. And then I think we're going to give him some squinting eyes, because he's such a happy pizza. That's really all I think we need to show he's happy. I'll just add a... Oh, no, I'm not keen on that. Now, what I want to do here is just fill in the outline a bit of the smiling pizza. This is just something you can do to really make your drawings pop. These big, bold, colourful drawings on Drawception. Done a lot of moody stuff up to this point. But going for something a bit more bold, a bit more colourful, a bit more lively here. Doesn't have to be perfectly curved. What's important is that you get the idea from your head on to the canvas. We're going to do it in the red as well, and you don't have to perfectly outline the colours either. It can be a bit of spillover. I mean, you do what makes you happy. And that gives us a nice, really highlight. Well, it's not really a highlight, it's darker, isn't it? That's alright. It's just showing us a bit more clearly what's going on in the scene. We'll just outline this pepperoni. Check that out. You know, I'm not going to win any art competitions for this, but it's all about the game. It's all about the game. See what comes of this picture, see where it's come from, and people's ideas, and people's imaginations. That's what the game's about. It's not about being a great artist. It's about using your imagination, expressing your creative vision. Now, there are some really great artists on Drawception. Their art is fantastic to look at. But everyone's got to start somewhere. We'll just add a bit of accents, some accents I should say. Let's use proper English. Now we're gonna... Oh, I don't really know. We've still got over a minute left here. You know what? I've decided our guy's gonna have some arms and legs. Of course you don't have to use... you don't have to use all 10 of your minutes, but it's always a good idea to put in the effort. See what you can do to improve your drawing. You know, put in the work. Someone's worked hard on their drawing before or after you. You wanna put in the effort to match everyone else's drawings. It's worthwhile. Someone's thought long and hard about a caption, come up with something that really works for them. You don't want to just put a blob on the screen, but hey, that's not to say that it has to be fantastic. You do what you think you can do. Do your best. That's what matters. Always do your best. Alright. That's our time up. Happy pizza. No, I'm very content that this is a happy pizza. And looking at this now, I realised I forgot to outline the yellow. But that's okay. You don't need to outline everything if you don't want to. In retrospect, probably would have been a good idea. And we'll just go on. Ooh. We'll caption this. Just go on until we find something that brings an image to our mind. Oh, the scream. Well, why don't we give it a shot? Oh, that's a bit annoying. There are various versions of the scream, but we're gonna give a shot. We're gonna give this version a shot, I'll say. Now I'm thinking we start with this light background. We're gonna start with the sky. This is something I'm definitely out of my comfort zone with, but there's nothing wrong with giving something a try. I just want to replicate those swirls in the sky. Then I'm just going to add in this blue, if you can see it. Or, in fact, I might add a bit more detail to these swirls, these swirling clouds. Of course, this is a bit of fun, obviously. That's what Drawception's all about. Now, I'm not going for something that really exactly replicates the picture, obviously. I don't have the skill for that, but moreover, I don't have the time for that. Just got to get something that really captures the spirit of the picture. Now we're just going to fill this bottom part in. Have a darker canvas to work from here. Okay. The great thing about Drawception is you never know what kind of prompt is going to come along. Now I just want to get these swirls that are in the sea, if you can see that here. In fact, I might go to a finer brush. We have 7 minutes remaining. I'm just anticipating where I'm going to want more detail later on. we'll just go in and add a bit more. Well, in fact, I think I'll go down to this fine brush. Just add that detail there. Now you see this orange bit of that water here. Well, we're going to try and replicate that here. We'll start with the big brush. And then we'll go down in size as we go along. I'll just do a bit of an outline here. I think I'll go down to this lighter colour. Really just fill in the gaps, fill in the details. And then I think we want to have this swirling water there. I might have this lighter colour here and then go back to a darker colour as we go down to this fine brush. Now with half our time elapsed, I think it's time to start working on the foreground of the picture, and we're going to start with the bridge. Now I'm going to start by using this large brush. And of course, the canvas that we have is in landscape, and the original image is in portrait. But that's okay, we'll just use our imagination to figure out how it might be different. Then I'm going to use this dark blue as a black just to bring out these lines. It's very difficult to make straight lines on Drawception. There are ways to do it. It's very, very difficult though with a mouse, which is what I'm using. But it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just here getting the indication of the bridge. I think here we're just going to have this light colour. Probably should have done this first. Now we're really losing time to work on our character, so I'm going to fast track this a little bit. I'm just going to do something fairly rough, quite frankly, for this, and I'm going to go back over. I should have done this dark bit afterwards, I realise now. That's okay, it's all about learning. It's all about learning. Gotta undo that. There's no point in panicking, because when you panic, you're just gonna focus on what you should have been doing and not focus on the moment. Alright, now I think we can work on our iconic Scream character. I'm going to start with this, with a sort of circle that goes down into this, I guess it's a pear shape almost. I should be a bit closer up, I think. I'm going to do his hands. All not outlined yet, because there's a bit of an outline in the original painting, as I'm sure you can see. In fact, I think we need all this slightly bigger in the picture. And then I'll just do his hands. Then I'm going to go into this black, I'm going to outline that. With this fine brush, I'm just going to fill in his face. Just do some circles. Just do some circles. Time check, we got well over a minute left. And then we're just gonna fill out where this shirt will be. Or cloak, whatever you might think it is. Beautiful. Now I just want to go in. I'll go and correct what I messed up a little bit here. I want to add a bit of detail here. Then I'm just going to use this lighter colour, which isn't really representative of the original picture. But we really don't have all that many colours to work with. Add a bit of... That's really the lightest colour we've got. I want to add some highlights around his face, because his face is looking a little fat. So I just want to make it look a bit more gaunt with this detail. And I'll add in some more. Okay, and time's up. Well, we're still working at the end of that. But hey, I think we got the general idea of what's going on there. You know, it's not going to win any competitions, but it really was a learning experience, and it was worth giving it a real shot. And I'm very pleased that I did. If I would have wanted to do anything more, maybe add this detail here in this section, really work on this character. And yeah, there are so many things you can do to improve a picture. And there are, of course, other versions of the Scream that we could have looked through and really found something that might have worked better with our colour palette even. But it's worth trying, and I'm glad I did, and I'm very pleased to have done it. Alright. And that's our Drawception for the day, I reckon. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Thanks for coming along. And I'll see you next time.